See what it is. If somebody making noise, you gotta check it out. Let's check it out. Sorry. Had that on all day. My hair's greasy now. Definitely greasy now. I was talking about somebody else earlier. Hold on. Comment. One down here. Yeah, it's got a lot of hair on it. I can't use a hat with all that hair. We can't use an ugly one. All right. So I picked the ugly hat. Now, some guy gave this to me when my money was locked up for 3 years. My dog is he's mad at me a little bit. I know, man, but can't fix it. You eat your food and just be relaxed. That's all I can tell you. You're a dog. I can't fucking give you that much attention, it's just too much. Way too much attention that I give you already. Anyway, I bought these really cheap boots because I like doing that at secondhand stores. They're fucking excellent, actually. They just have one of those in sleeves on the bottom that kind of has a warp to it. That's easily fixed. A very good work boots. Yeah, so I'm probably going to end my channel and start a new one. Not really into the whole diatribe anyway. Half the time, no one talks, and when they do, their opinions are skewed towards the mainstream commitments and stuff like that, academia wise. Hard to find people that are of, I guess, similar, like, of mind or whatever. Hard, very hard. Trying to get some cooler air in here, even though it's starting to get cold out. I swear to God, guys, people go to bed, roll up the carpet on the sidewalks here. It gets too quiet, way too quiet. Oh, it's an ugly hat. Anyway, and literally, I want to start a new YouTube channel because I really don't always find that YouTube is a preference for me. I can't even figure out what my fucking anyway. Made a new pattern for my phone, can't even remember. When is it gonna stop doing this? Do I have to shut my phone off? Okay, let's see. What was it? I don't know now.
I really need to get my pipe. What is it, Bo? See what it is. Oh, I'll be back. Yeah, find it. I don't know what I do with it. I think it's downstairs on my porch. Oh, no. Yeah, I haven't even got to get it. Still haven't. I definitely got this. Remember this? Yeah. Really, really fucking dirty. Nasty. Full hair. All that shit. So I noticed something about businesses, especially like where I have to go get my medicine. They have a protocol they have to follow. And the doctor tells anyone that calls up and they're acting completely normal by, just by acting a little like they're not acting normal, test them to see if they'll overreact. So I called and I said, look, I didn't hear the phone ring for my phone appointment. And I started telling her, and she started explaining all the criteria. And if I start failing at all the criteria and don't jump through the hoops, I'm going to have to go to another place. I said, no, I don't want to go to another place. You supposedly called me, but I didn't get the phone call. I didn't get the ring. I got, you know, no ring, no notification, nothing. So I went all the way out there, told her, and well, before I went all the way out there and told her, I had already done that, by the way. And she started saying, "Well, you know, you run the risk of, if you're not going to follow the rules, you know, we can basically, without saying so, we'll drop services from you or some shit." I'm like, she's a secretary, but nonetheless, the doctor probably told her, "Hey, see if you can get them mad over the phone. That way I can discontinue them on this or discontinue them on that and feel good about it." And I think that's what they tell the people at the mental health clinics, the secretaries. Don't don't get upset at them. Just see if you can get them upset. If they get upset, then we know we have a potential psychotic episode to deal with every fucking time. So anyway, I'm smarter than that. It didn't happen. And I said, let me talk to your supervisor. She went and got her. I told her, look, I've had problems with people in the system before. One time I had a case manager in Las Vegas, literally fucking, I was on heavy drugs. They put me on them. The next thing I know, he had me sign something. I thought it was all kosher, and I lost all my money. He lost his job eventually because I had to go to the nurse and say, hey, look, this is what this case manager did to me. And so I'm not real happy with the way they treat people in the system, obviously. But luckily, I got my money back. Another time, when I first got my disability based on birth issues, um, you know, most of it was based on birth and pain and stuff like that. And anyway, I got a case manager. I got like back pay for like almost $7,000. And one day, that other case manager fucked me over like that, and I missed 2 months of rent, maybe 3 months of rent, which was only like 500 something. Anyway, next time I talked to my new case manager, because the other guy got fired, he said, "Oh, your money's gone. What are you talking about?" I said, "What are you talking about? What do you mean? What, all my money's gone?" He said, "Well, I had to pay your rent with the money that you had in your built-up account." And I said, "Well, yeah, but without my permission, you just start paying." He says, "Either that or you get kicked out." I said, "Well, then where's the rest of it? I had fucking so much money, and now you're saying 3 months of rent took away 4 grand of mine because I had already spent some of it." And anyway, yeah. So I think he ripped me off. If you ever get back pay from those sons of a bitches, you better watch out what case manager you get. They figure shit out. They definitely do. They figure out how to swindle, take your money, all that shit. They figure if you're going to get free money from the government, they're going to fucking skim off it. They think you're on heavy enough drugs, that's exactly what they'll do. They'll create a scenario. And his name, I almost feel like I don't have an issue talking about who it was, but maybe I shouldn't. They take advantage of people all the time. Get them on heavy meds. There was one guy, he had $18,000 because he took off, didn't contact anyone, built up. There's no telling what happens to that money that built up for that guy and where he went, if he ever showed back up. And when I was in the system, I saw maybe 10 people that just did everything the doctor said, and the next thing they knew, they were in extremely bad health. Overweight, all kinds of side effects. Didn't complain about the medicine, though. Unreal. And of course, one guy, he ended up having to have an oxygen machine, and I'm like, what happened to him? Why does he have an oxygen machine? Oh, he had a heart, something wrong with him. Possibly the medication we gave him. I mean, there was a few of those too. I mean, some of them were really bad because they did other things that were not good. One guy literally was put into my apartment because my roommate had to go into the or no, my roommate had a heart attack, and they found this other roommate for me. Guess what he did? Shit in the bathtub. Fucking shit in the goddamn bathtub by accident, but I mean, I can remember some shit, but it takes me a while to think about it. Really crazy. One time I was in a group home. I was recovering from a form of mental breakdown, and I didn't really have a place at the time. So I went ahead and followed the protocol to go in this fucking like, halfway house. And it was just more or less a transitional housing, kind of like for mentally ill. But it was pure garbage. Everything was beyond ghetto. The floor in one of the houses was collapsed, but they didn't care as long as they could fucking stay there. The fucking floor was collapsed. And that was where I went to fucking play cards and shit or whatever, just to hang out with somebody. But the fucking floor was collapsed. And when I say the floor, not all the floor was collapsed, just the main hallway. Another time there was somebody who was named Seth, and he just completely went and just let them tell him how to act, be, and do. He was so subservient that I think he ended up taking whatever they gave him. And of course, you could tell he's losing his ability to make decisions for himself. And you could just see it happening over time. And when you would say hi, he at one point, all he could say was God bless and how are you doing? He was so fucked up here, he couldn't even talk anymore. I have no idea what the fuck they were giving him. And my friend Bill, he went south. He pretty much took whatever they gave him, and he just ended up turning into more or less a spasmodic vegetable of sorts, not really planning very well at all. Trying to, though. He was trying to. At least Bill, he would rent movies. He had a family. He tried to take care of everybody, but his mind, from the medication, I think, made whatever happened initially just worse. Let's see who else. And there were so many fragile people in that system. There was a woman, she was kind of somebody I might even hook up with, but because she was so fragile in her mind, there's no way you could get to that point unless you were, I don't know, a really good talker. But she ended up having a nervous breakdown, and her kid ended up being in the custody of somebody else, and then she went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs after that. She was an outpatient, but that's how she went. She went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Every time you say anything that would make her emotional, she'd start crying, and you wouldn't even know what it would be to make her emotional. She would just start bawling. And then there was other people that were so unstable. Just being around other people, they were dangerous. I think his name was Gary. He was dangerous around people, but they didn't care. Just put him in the program, let him, he'll act normal, be nice to him. But no, all you had to do was let him go off a trigger word, anything. And Gary would end up fucking probably killing somebody. And they had him in this one program, and he was difficult to. I mean, I would have to really placate to make sure that I didn't say a fucking thing wrong to trigger the guy. He was so schizophrenic and violent as well. I wasn't afraid, but I knew that there was a potential you could just turn around and he could stab you if he had a knife. I mean, he was that kind of person. It was just like all you have to do is you have a good conversation. Next thing you know, you turn around and he'll stab your ass. You know? But I never kept my eyes off him for that reason. Um, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of the times I had in Vegas. Some bad memories actually, but they came along with my life, so I don't care. They're past. They're in the past, but really scary. One time I was with somebody. He was a vet, but he was a severe crackhead. I mean, like severe. I mean, the motherfucker was doing crack 24 fucking 7. Right? I had to move in with him because the lady that I was trying to get a room from, Marietta, fucking put me in that place because he wasn't there at the time, and I didn't know. She didn't say nothing about that. I ended up in that room, and it was God. It was nasty. I mean, talk about fucking shithole. But my room was okay. It was just you could tell the paint job was fucking 20 fucking years old. The rug looked 50 years old. Everything in there was just grotesque. The cabinets, you could tell they've been repainted for 70 years. I don't know. It's just the most disgusting little interior decorated whatever leftovers of whatever the fuck you want to call that shit. And I was just happy to get a room. But that guy shows up and I learn what he's all about. And then I'm like, oh, hell fucking no. But I didn't want to start any issues. So I played ghetto just like everyone else around there. And I did what he did occasionally just to make it seem like, hey, hey, man, I'm there. I've been there. I fucked with that. But I didn't want to overdo it. But he did. And one day he was like, hey, man, come on, we'll go, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, I'm like, no, no, dude. You take way too many risks. That's what I told him. You take way too many risks. And he kind of laughed it off and he said, bro, I'm a fucking Vietnam veteran. You think I worry about any of that kind of shit? And I said, maybe not, but maybe that's where the problem was. And he decided, well, okay, I'll go by myself since you're a fucking pussy. And when he said that, I was like, what? No, I'm not a pussy. I'll go with you just based on the fact that you just called me a pussy. And I don't put up with that shit. Either we, get into it, or I'll go with you just to prove I'm not a pussy. And he goes, well, then come on. That guy, and he was skinny. You could tell he'd been doing this thing for a long time. He would walk anywhere and just walk up to an apartment complex. Like he didn't even know him. He just know, oh yeah, that guy's works for this kingpin. That guy works for that kingpin. And he had all the info. I'm like, okay, yeah, but that doesn't impress me. I don't want to walk up into their fucking grill. He said, dude, don't worry about it, man. They know who I am around here. I said, whatever, man. I feel like I'm about to get a drive-by though, bitch. And we walked up, and the window was wide fucking open. It was wide fucking open. There were people doing shit. Man, might as well have been just straight out of the movie Bad Boys, the original, where they're in that room dealing there with the briefcase, and they're not the new one, but the old one with Sean Penn, who I don't even like. But you could see everything was going on there, and they didn't even care. The fucking curtain was wide open, you know. And I was like, "Well, dude, we're standing right in front of these people. They're doing their thing, and I'm leaving. I'm not gonna stand here and just be a fucking like sitting here like this, basically spying on them. No, hell no." So I started to fucking walk away, and he said, "Hold on, dude, don't go nowhere." And anyway, long story short, we ended up leaving because those guys didn't even look up once. So we just said, fuck it, they're not, and even he's smart enough not to go knock on that fucking door. Okay. So we walked away, ended up, whatever, finding somebody else doing the thing. Anyway, the next day, it emboldened me so much to be a complete idiot like he was that I just said, well, hell, man, if he can do it, I can do it. Vet or no vet. Okay. I'm not a vet, but I'll do it just like he did, just because I felt like it. And when you're depressed and your money is locked up and you can't get a hold of it, you're on disability, all bets are off. You don't really give a fuck what happens at that point. You're really upset. I didn't even know if I was going to get my money. So one day I just went out. I said, "Yeah, I'm going to do it, but not with him because he made me paranoid." So this time I went out and I did my thing. I made it happen. They're just kids riding around on bikes. That's it. But it was hard to get their attention because they don't know me, right? See, I mean, after I gained a rapport with them, I guess it was okay, but they still were very precautious with me. The one time I had to do a deal between a fence with them, and for some reason I don't know what it was, but it felt like they were getting ready to be shot at or something. So I was paranoid about that one. Anyway, it went down, it happened, but after they're adults, they're not as easy as I would like them to be. So one day, instead, I just walked straight down the apartment where I've seen them riding around. I knew for a shitload of a fact, pretty much, where that place was. That was probably the biggest and stupidest mistake I ever made, but it panned out. But it didn't have to. I walked right up to their main shit, knocked on the door. A lady answered, which was better. The lady answered. I said, "Hey, what up? Yo, I deal with homies all the time, but they're I can't really find them today, and they ain't coming up to me or nothing. So I figured maybe it's a good option to come over here." She said, "You ain't a cop?" I said, "No, I'm not a cop." She said, "Okay, what do you need?" And I told her, and she came back in. I left. I never went back though, because after that, I didn't want to draw any more attention to that fucking apartment complex. But that was a big risk I took. Fucking big one. I did all kinds of stupid shit. And then, of course, one of them took an offense that I did that one day. And I was walking down the street, and he was walking at me like he was going to fight me because he said, you could read his mind. He's like, "Hey, bro, you walked up into our hood and went straight to our main base. Now I'm going to fucking beat your ass." He was walking right towards me, and I'm like, "You know what, dude? Relax." I gave him the psychic vibe, relax. You're just looking at another homie, more or less the same way somebody would beg for a cigarette. Don't trip, okay? It's not that big of a deal. And he walked by me, but adamantly, because I was kind of big. I was a big guy. And I think what it was maybe he also said, maybe it's not a great idea to fuck with this guy. He might even be able to do something to me because I don't think he was packing. Then I had like a clique. I didn't really want to join the clique because I knew I was white and I wasn't going to fit in, but they definitely hooked me up, that clique. I always had weed. I was always invited, but I wasn't allowed over if the clique, more than one or two of the clickers was over there. They would say, "No, man, you'll have to come back later," or "Go get me a burrito," and then the other guy that was there would leave because they had, secrets. They didn't want everyone to know their fucking secrets. Yeah, I'll be back. let's see what else. A lot of hoes. Junkie hoes, though. A lot of junkie hoes out there. Vegas is just a pit. That's all I can say about it. Fucking pit. And it was impossible for me to stay away from all that. Being in the system with all those potential weirdos. You know, maybe some were as innocent as can be. They're still weirdos. Trying to get resin. I don't know if I ever told you about the time they were going after a guy, a white dude. And he had a gun to his head, 10 cops behind him, walking straight towards the apartment with my girlfriend, where we had a glass pane window. I thought he was going to take it away from his head and just tell me to open the door or something. But we jumped in another room and jumped on the floor. They ended up shooting him. But luckily, in the back of the leg, I guess you could say it was luck for him. The back of the leg. His name was Canfield. That was his last name, Canfield. It was just a traffic stop. He fell asleep, probably who knows on what, right on the side of the road, where there's no cars really supposed to park, I don't even think. That's why it was a traffic stop. But as soon as they tried to contact him, he just jumped out of the car and ran off. Another time, let's see, there was a bank robbery at, let's see, what was it on? I think it was Sahara. What bank was it though? It was on the east side, just east of the strip. There's a bank down there on the right in Las Vegas on Sahara. It's east of the strip. That guy robbed a bank, and we were close by and we had the scanner going, so we went over there to check it out. And eventually they had him in custody. Yeah, I guess he only had like a stack of bills that thick, and he got arrested in no time at all. But he tried to go in a gym and get lost in the gym. Bad mistake. That was always his worst mistake, actually. Trying to go in a gym to get lost? No. Bad idea. Bad idea. Yeah, I knew Gary Morris from Mod Squad. I didn't know him, but I mean, I saw him 20 million times coming and going from, I think it was Gary Morris. I think that's his name. Something Morris. Used to play in Mod Squad. He lived in the same place I lived. And then he died of cancer. But he was always in and out of the Three Wing Hilton, not the Flamingo, but the Three Wing Hilton off of, I think it was called Joe W. Brown or some shit like that. Same place. Elvis Presley lived in the top, and yeah. Okay, get some massage. At the time when Elvis was alive, he lived in the top. And on at least one occasion, I had to give a ride to somebody over to where Morris lived. I think it was whatever Morris, that actor from Mod Squad. And I had to go over to that building in the Las Vegas Country Club. Somebody told me to do it. I did do it, but I was very suspicious of the guy I was giving a ride to. He looked like he was straight up mobster. And whatever present supposedly he had, probably a fucking couple of kilos as far as I know. Because I was just fucking giving him a ride, but he was looking at me like I might try to jump him for it or something. Like maybe somebody had inside information and set him up to get a ride from me. So he's really paranoid. And I gave him a ride from A to B. And I guess it's because he was more or less making a delivery. And even though it was Jewish owned, they had a lot of traffic going back and forth in there. That kind of traffic. Let's see. One time I was on my way to the Hilton because there was so much people breaking into cars in Vegas. You could walk down a street and just run into somebody who was just found out his car was broken into. And that happened to me once. What do you think he did? He immediately thought it was me. I was across the street and I was like, he started running towards me and then he stomped his foot like he was gonna really fuck with me and shit. I just looked at him like, dude, are you fucking crazy? Why would I fucking be on the other side of the street chilling like a walking really slow? I think he picked the vibe up and he stopped about halfway and just said, "You weren't over here, were you?" I said, "No, no, of course not, dude. I'm just coming from right here where I live." And he basically left me alone because he could tell, I didn't look like the type. But yeah, we used to run. I used to run into all that kind of shit. One time I came out of one of those swimming parks, and I swear to God, it looked like some chick was getting raped in a car, but she was being watched by some people in a van next to it, and I wasn't sure if it was rape or what. But I was like, well, if I walk up to that shit, I'm gonna get myself into trouble because they got a whole van and a vehicle sitting there together, and who knows how many fucking people are in the van. I just kept walking. But it didn't sound like rape, it just sounded like hard fucking sex. But I was worried because I didn't really hear the chick. And then I knew a guy, he lived in a trailer park over in fucking North Las Vegas. My other friend who was complete dirtbag, um, I guess I was his friend at the time. he would do anything and anything, and he was only fucking 5'2". Guy was fucking crazy. Um, One thing he didn't have was quite the same health benefits of a lot of people. He just got lazy, started smoking pot. He used to do a teeter board act with his dad. Now he's just a criminal. So we were over there one day, and there was Uzis going off all of a sudden, and we had to duck behind a building. And then I was like, man, bro, I am never coming back to your stupid trailer park, man. You got people wheeling by with Uzis and shit. No fucking way. But I ended up going over there one more time because I had to pick up them in the limo, and I did that. Uh, but before we got in the limo, the guy's brother fucking pulled a gun on me I guess he thought it was a joke because it was unloaded. And I guess I just said, man, you either shoot me or fuck off. He goes, it's unloaded. And I go, well, don't never fucking point the fucking gun at me again, bro. He goes, who do you think you're talking to? This is my house. And I just said, I don't care whose fucking house is it, dude. I'm glad it was unloaded, though. I can tell you that fucking much. If this wasn't in your house, we'd be rolling on the ground right now because his mom also had a gun. So I just said, fuck this shit. And I said, you ain't coming with us. And I took the other two with me, went in the limo, and told him he gets to stay home. Otherwise, he was going to go too with us. Fucking idiot. Then we went to Hacienda, and somebody showed up and they had all this shit. I was like, what's this all about? He said, oh, I told him to come over here. I'm like, dude, this shit ain't this ain't legit though. All the shit that this guy brought over, it's gonna get you and me and everyone in this fucking place in trouble. So I told him, look, I gotta go. I'm not gonna hang out here. And then a chick showed up who was really hot, and then I stayed fucking after that. But I didn't want to. Then I find out the guy, his friend, has emphysema. Then I fucking left. Stupid fucking shit. People hanging, and they kept hanging out with that guy. The guy has emphysema. I don't know, man. Crazy. She was an airline stewardess. Emotionally unbalanced, I could tell. A newbie. She had a nice ass, nice body, but she was emotionally unstable. I think she wanted to get gangbanged, but she didn't know how to proceed about it. And she had a boyfriend. So to me, that's emotionally unstable. Trying to get my back to feel a little better. 5, you all right? Gave some of the kind of psychological things I had to say to or not the pit bosses, but security, people that would walk around, some of the key men, some of the people in charge of the machine areas. just the psychology that I had to use verbally as well. Unbelievable. There was this one guy, he always knew I was there for one reason. Either to gamble and win money, which he saw me do quite often, or to walk around the machines, place my money in, and pull out whatever somebody left in the machine. So he was really a hater on me, but the security at that place at the time, I knew him, one of the main security guys, and they never kicked me out. So he was always pissed off that he couldn't get me kicked out. And so, like one time, I guess he wanted to catch me in the act so he could officially say, okay, fuck, I don't care about the main security guard. I'm going to get this guy kicked out. So one day he waited, caught me doing something or other. And I said, look, dude, do you really think I care? And I whipped open my wallet. I had almost $3,000, I guess, in it. I just started flipping the hundreds in the wallet like that. I go, do you really fucking think I care, dude? I know I had close to $3 grand. Of course, he shut up after that. He gave me a dirty look though, and walked away. Let's see. I had a few incidents that were similar, kind of, and a couple where I actually did get caught with like no money. Sure, it happened. But one thing I can say, it was really fun to play the psychological thing. In MGM, I used to go in and I would move in a way that was so confusing to any camera trying to keep an eye on me that whenever they did say, okay, we got to go get him, kick him out, they would have such a difficult time, even with all the fucking cameras they had, to fucking come get me because I would go through and I would do weird shit like fucking Pac-Man and or I would just it was impossible. And even one day the guy ended up catching up to me. And I think I just found like 160 bucks and I put a 20 in and pulled out 160 from someone else's machine. And I even asked him, "Are you playing this to be nice about it?" She said no. So I played a few hands with my 20, and I pulled the 160 out, and she decided to call security and say that it was hers, which I don't even think it was, but she had already said it wasn't. But the security, when they finally caught up with me, they said, "Hey, look, we're going to let you keep the money, but dude, you're the hardest motherfucker to find." I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "We fucking were trying to find you since you came in, we were trying to find you. But we could not, even with all the shit we have, we could not catch up with you because of the way you walk and do things." I said, "Oh, well." He said, "But we have to kick you out permanently now. And because we know for a fact that wasn't that lady's money in that machine, we're going to let you walk with it. So go ahead and, cash in at the cashier and then leave." And I did. There was some pretty cool security, I ain't gonna lie. Now, the Imperial Palace was a whole different story. They just wanted me out. They didn't care how. One time I went in there with $300 plus or something, started gambling right away because I knew they wanted me out. So I just said, well, just keep gambling and they're not going to kick you out. I was wrong. I think I was there for maybe 30 minutes. The security surrounded my table, said, "Okay, it's time for you to leave." One walked up, says, "Time for you to leave." I said, "What for?" I said, "We don't have to tell you what for. We're just telling you right now, get up, you're leaving. Cash out your chips right there and then leave." That's what I did. But as I was leaving, I copped an attitude, spit on their window, and they ran out, tackled me before I could sprint off. But at least they let me leave with, what I had. Like I say, a lot of times they would let me leave with whatever hustle I managed to get out of the machine. But not always. in Caesar's Palace once. I found it was just a bucket full of money. At the time, money came out, the coins. And my friend was so dumb to it. I said, "Bro, you just missed a fucking killer ass hustle. There ain't anyone at that carousel. Go look how much money's sitting in that bucket." He goes and looks and goes, "Oh shit!" Says, "Damn, good spot." I said, "Yeah, are you gonna take it or are you gonna try to get me to take it?" He says, "Well, I don't feel like taking it, so I guess it's all yours." So I ended up taking it. Anyway, we ended up getting stopped. We go in the back. Uh, they let me keep that money too, but my friend at the time, because he was a fucking drug dealer, he took his whatever it was they found on him, sent him to jail. I shit you not. But that's his fault for carrying that shit on him. That was his. He did that, and that was his fault. But you know what I had to do after that? He had a moped outside. I don't even want to tell you what was in that. That motherfucking thing, I couldn't even get it started. Or it pooped out on me, it ran out of gas or something. But he said, "Look, man, just bring my moped home." And you don't even know what was in that. I do. And he hinted at it too. That was not fun. I didn't want to fuck with his shit. I didn't want to get in trouble for his shit. But loyalty, that's what we used to have. Even though he was kind of a dirtbag kind of guy, I had loyalty because he used to have a teeterboard act with his dad in Vegas. I developed loyalty for that reason because at one time he was a professional. And that's that. Anyway, just like anything, by the time he ended up getting out of jail, he's like, "Hey, I'm missing some." And it's like, "Of course. What do you fucking think I'm doing sitting on it for 3 weeks? Of course you are." Took a little, yeah. It took a little, bitch. That was years ago though. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie to him. Shit, fuck yeah, I did. That was a scary ass job you gave me, bitch. Hell yeah, I did. Because I had to walk the goddamn moped home. Yeah, I don't fuck with shit like that anymore. But when I did, it was just one thing after the other. People don't really know me. Anyway, oh well. I wonder if this stuff is good. I wonder if it's going to work really good in my raised bed. Let's see what else. Went to the VP fair once, and Robbie Morgan was always in a mindset to get in a fight with either one of us or somebody and prove how strong he was. He was pretty tall. I knew him since grade school, but he had a mental disposition. And I was always ready for it, but I knew eventually he's going to either fight me or Scott or somebody in public so that he can get attention and act like he's tough. We were walking back from the VP fair, and I turned around and he swung at me, and immediately I fucking blocked it because it would have hit me. I said, "What's your fucking problem?" He didn't say nothing, so I kicked him in the chest, and he fell back, and a bunch of people that were walking away from the VP fair went, "Ooh," like that. he started to get up, and this time when he got up, he started swinging again. But I did the same thing, but a little lower, his stomach, and blocked any punch that was coming at me. He fell down the second time, and this time he was having trouble getting up because I hit him a little closer to the solar plexus. But that's just how it was in St. Louis. I mean, people are just fucking, you don't know who you're hanging with, man. People are just mental. No matter who you have as your friends, a lot of times they're just going to have a mental disposition. You can't do a fucking thing about it, and you still stay friends. But anyway, so we started walking towards the parking lot. After that, I think he got the idea. Don't keep doing that shit to me, or we'll have a real fight. But we walked to the parking lot, and then he tries it again. But this time, my head's turned. I'm not even looking, but I could hear him. I could hear him coming at me. So I fucking threw a back kick at him, and this time I didn't knock him down, but I know it fucking hurt him. And then he was trying to throw punches and shit. I don't know. I think I grabbed him by the arm, and Scott grabbed him by the arm. So what's the problem, dude? Why are you even fucking doing this? Finally, he just kind of gave up and soaked it up and said, "Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just felt like fighting." But anyway, to add to that, another time, my friends went to Mississippi Nights, which is more or less the same place on the river in St. Louis, or that area. And this time, they were coming back to their vehicle, and some guys were laughing and walking away. Big motherfuckers, like really big. And not all of them, but most of them were giant, big fucking motherfuckers, like right out of the gym. They were laughing and they were hysterically laughing. And anyway, they got to their car and saw all the windows were busted out. And this is the same two people, Robbie and Scott. Anyway, they jumped in their car, raced towards those guys, scared them off the road, part of the road that they were walking on after getting out of the parking lot. They all had to jump out of the way. Then they ran and jumped into their car, and then my friends chased them all the way across the river, and I guess tried to run them off the road a couple times, and I guess vice versa. But the dudes who did it were in front of them, and so they were chasing them. And when they got across the river, I think they like tried to do like police do, hit the back corner of the car to make it spin out when they were getting off an off ramp. And anyway, those guys finally found a place to park their shit, and my friends got out. And the first thing that happened was somebody threw a brick at one of my friends, and I think it just grazed them, but it would have fucking hurt really bad if it would have hit. And the other guy was huge. He got out, started walking towards me. My friend grabbed a tire iron jack from the back just in time, and that guy didn't even see it, but he kept walking. My friend closed the trunk, then the guy saw it, and I wasn't there, but he swung it right at the guy's forehead, hit dead center with the tire iron jack, right in his fucking forehead, and it bled like a faucet right out of the middle of his head. He didn't fall down, but it was bleeding like a fucking faucet. It was just a little kind of like shh, 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 like that. And then the other guys were still throwing rocks and wherever they could pick up, bricks, whatever was there, at my friends. So my other friend that didn't do that with the tire inject, the other guy, before he didn't want to get hurt, so he got back in his car. This time he stepped on the gas and slammed into somebody against something like railroad tie wall or some shit like that. Slammed into him. Blood everywhere. Blood every fucking where. When he brought the car back, there was just blood all over the fucking front. And the next day, it was on the news. A bunch of guys over near Mississippi Nights or wherever you call that shit down near the river started a fight. And they ended up all getting pretty much maimed over on the east side of St. Louis by trying to run away from my friends. And my friend kept the blood and everything on the front of his Plymouth Satellite. He just left it all there for like 2 weeks, parked in the back of his house as a memento. But his windows were still broke. His windows were still broke for forever. He didn't even ever get them fixed. I don't remember if he did. This fucking phone, fucking piece of shit. Um, trying to turn the phone off would be a good thing. Um, another time, my friend Tommy went over to get some weed from a friend that I introduced him to. He used to date my sister, but he was using the guy a lot without me, and I guess the guy took a dislike to that because, you know, I mean, kind of like he really didn't call a lot of times. He would just show up to get some bud. This is in Missouri where it's illegal. I did it again. Oh, fuck this phone. What happened? Oh yeah. Wait a minute, I'm trying to remember what I'm talking about now. Oh yeah. And this time he went over, and I guess another friend of mine, I found out later, another friend of mine, I guess because other people opened their mouth, and I guess we all kind of opened our mouth about this guy has good weed. So one of my other friends, without telling anybody else, went over there because he knows full well that a lot of people keep their shit in the trunk of their car. I guess he went over there and fucking broke in, stole the guy's shit. So anyway, my friend Tommy went over there not knowing any of this, along with another friend, and that motherfucker pulled a knife on his, put it to his throat, and said, "I'm gonna fucking kill your ass." I have no idea what happened in the next 15 minutes, but it took forever for him to come back. And when he did, he was shaking fucking so bad. And he said, "I don't even know. I can't even believe I'm alive. Let's get out of here." I said, "What happened?" He explained it to me. I'm like, probably Angelo did that. Angelo probably did that. I was right. Angelo was the fucking one who did that kind of shit. Stealing people's weed all the fucking time. Whatever he could get his hands on that was going to benefit him. Um, one time I was really, actually, this is kind of here nor there because it was just all wrong on my part. But my brother had a friend named Willie, and he was a really cool black dude that we used to talk all the time, have a good time. Whenever he came over, we'd just chill. And, you know, he was Dennis's friend, but I would still be cool to him too. Well, one time my brother said, "Oh, Willie always has an ounce of weed whenever he comes over." I said, "Well, why didn't you ever fucking smoke any with me?" He says, "Because Willie is my friend, not yours, and you're fucking only, what, 13? So that's why." So one day I got kind of upset over that. And I was outside playing frisbee, and I said, "You know what? It's nighttime now. My frisbee, I guess it was getting a little too dark for to see it." And my friend left, so I threw the frisbee on purpose into the guy's car because the window was open. I went in there and tried to look for it. Bad choice, man. He came out, "What are you doing in my car?" Yeah, I could have ended up all fucked up. Yeah, just stupid things I did when I was younger. I was always looking for a way to get weed. I couldn't get it at that age. Like, well, sometimes I could. And I guess I lost Willie as a, even my brother probably never talked to him again after that. I will say this though, my brother Pat had a repertoire of everyone in Webster knew my brother. Every ethnicity knew who my brother was. Every fucking one of them. Because my brother used to do things, and he was on a constant trying to get fame and, ghetto street creds or whatever you want to fucking call it. And one day, years later, after my brother died, talking to some dude, I have no idea who he is. He's on the East St. Louis Metrolink. I'm talking to him. Seemed really cool, so I was shooting shit with him. He said, "Oh yeah, Pat." I go, "What do you mean?" Yeah, because I mentioned my brother's name. He goes, yeah, I know who Pat Clark, right? And I looked at him like, yeah, Pat Clark. He goes, oh my God, dude, are you telling me you're his brother? And I said, yeah. Are you fucking telling me you know my brother Pat? Because he said, yeah, I know Pat. Everyone knows Pat. I said, exactly why? He said, because we all went to stag parties. That's one of the reasons. We all knew each other from stag parties. I guess that means like donkeys fucking bitches. I'm not sure what a fucking stag party. All I know is it was porno illegal, whatever you want to call it. The kind of thing where you point a projector and there's a film, there's a bunch of people at a party and it's like porno. I I don't know what the details of that were, but I said, that's all you guys ever did is watch fucking go to parties and have fucking films of porno? He said, no, no, Pat's known for driving like a nut job. I said, what do you mean? He said he would go 110, 120 down a fucking road to get away from police. He didn't give a fuck. And he didn't even give a fuck what kind of car, as long as it had a good engine, and he would do it. And he gained a reputation for that. I said, well, I didn't know my brother for that shit. He goes, well, now you do. I knew him. Everyone liked him too. No one disliked your brother. That was just weird. Nobody disliked him. Nobody disliked your brother, man. There wasn't one person who disliked him. He was the craziest motherfucker. And another thing, my brother Pat, I don't know if I've told you this. He slapped a cop while driving by while he was writing a ticket. Yeah, slapped a cop. And when I say slapped, I'm not kidding. He knocked the cop over. He stuck his body out and went bam like that. Cop fell over. Went to court for it. He was at the time like 17, so he got off it kind of easy. And I'm not sure exactly how he got off it kind of easy, but he ended up kind of getting off it kind of easy. But he ended up joining the military after that. Probably the judge said, "Look, man, you fucking slapped a cop, dude. Join the military or fuck off." You know, and that's when he ended up being a vet, turning into a Vietnam vet. And let's see, I don't know, I got stuff to talk. One of the karate teachers I had ended up being a bank robber in Texas. That guy he was like a real life David Carradine, but with a way better karate, kung fu, way better. None of that visual TV shit. And you could tell he was off the hook about it all. He ended up having get caught with grenades and whatever else, trying to rob some bank in fucking Texas. He got caught, but he was totally crazy. That guy, I could tell he was nuts. Very good at karate, kung fu, crane. Actually, he was a specialist in taekwondo, crane. Let's see what else. All kinds of fun stuff happened when I was growing up. Scary, fun, but scary. Um, yeah, we used to play at the VFW halls when we did our little band, and we also would play at warehouses that were more or less the venues were far and few between. They were in really bad neighborhoods, all black, all black. It was just an interesting time just going down there. People risk a lot of stuff just going down there. And it wasn't like people were just out for white, cause problems for us or anything, but a lot of times when we did that, we'd make sure that there was like a giant biker group right next to it, like because at the time most of the bikers would have places like that in very decrepit neighborhoods on purpose because there's no police. So we were usually pretty good that way, but nonetheless, lots of risk taking. Um, I'll be back. So this is my current project, and I haven't really gotten to it right now because I need a hacksaw, and I got to go to the skate shop to do this. But look how short it is. Look at that. Look at that. That's a short board. It's gonna be crazy. Wow, I just sat on my massage unit. Almost felt like somebody was fondling me. But let's see what else happened in my life, just for fun. I don't know. Why not? One time I got on a bus not too awful long ago, and St. Louis. I came from East St. Louis because I was at the time living in, let's see where I was, kind of like Belleville, Shiloh area in Illinois. but the train came all the way out to Shiloh. So I took the train from Shiloh to St. Louis to go see my old neighborhoods and shit because I just got back from Vegas and I just wanted to see, you know, how everything's changed in 21 years and all that shit. So I went over there, and the first thing that happens is I get on the bus, and I'm like, God damn, the bus is hot, right? Fucking bus is hot. So I said, hey, bus driver, can you please turn the air conditioner on? He was a pretty cool looking dude, but he said, it's broke. And I said, oh shit. So I went to open the window, and some some dude in the back said, hey man, what do you think you're doing? I said, I'm opening the window. It's hot as fuck in here. There's no fucking air. He goes, keep it closed. I said, excuse me? He said, keep it closed. And I said, why should I? I mean, what the fuck? How are you going to be telling me how to fucking close or whatever the window? I'm going to open it. How are you going to prevent me from opening it? And he didn't answer. So I went ahead and opened it. And he shook his head like this, like he was going to do something. I said, look, bro, there ain't a motherfucking thing you're going to do. There ain't a motherfucking thing. As big as, he's taller than me. I said, as big as you are, you ain't going to fucking come over here and make a big deal out of this, are you? Because if you are, I'm going to come get you and pull you off the bus. And at that point, he stopped talking, or well, he looked like he was about to start talking again. And he instead grabbed his phone and started calling somebody. And I was like, oh, I get it. So now that it doesn't work for you to act tough towards me, you're going to call one of your friends or one of your homies to come meet you on the bus because you can't handle your own motherfucking business. He didn't say anything. And then so I said, okay, how about this? How about I just come to you right now? And I walked towards him and I pulled my fucking chain off, which was about that long. And as soon as he saw that, he was desperately trying to get that fucking phone to answer. I said, look, bro, I can see you don't have it in you to do a motherfucking thing about me, but if you really, really want to try, here's a bus stop right here. I just pulled the handle. Come on, come on, get off yourself. I won't pull you off. Get off yourself. Prove you're a man. Get off the bus. We'll take care of it right here. And guess what he did? Nothing. Nothing. Now, the reason why I told that story is because this was what you would call somebody trying to act like they're St. Louis badass, but they're not. They're easy to spot. It's like somebody coming into prison who it's easy to tell they're full of shit about half the shit they say. They're not anyone who will ever, in any way, shape, or form, ever become a shot caller of any kind. Yet he was trying. The problem with that guy is he didn't realize what my background is. But nonetheless, he did call the police because the police came by. The bus driver didn't. The kid did. And when I say kid, he was like a 23-year-old kid trying to act tough to me. And yeah, that's just how that went down. Not all the time though. Sometimes people really want to fucking fight me. They don't back down. I don't know if I can remember any of those. Let's see if I can try. Let me see if I can try. Damn, I can't even remember a fight where somebody did not back down. They usually back down when I really get mad. I guess the only time that ever happened was in elementary school. That's understandable. I was skinny. I was no threat. And of course, I've been jumped before by several, so I didn't win those. It was only once, though, actually. I got jumped by several. Uh, One time a friend of mine, another friend who, honestly, I would never fight this guy. Okay, but for some reason or other, because I guess I'm crazy, my friend Jim Jockinafer said, "Why don't you go kick that guy off his bike?" I said, "What the fuck? That's that's perverse. Why would I go run over there and kick him off his bike, dude? Are you fucking kidding me? He's gonna probably end up beating my ass pretty hardcore." He said, "What? You can't beat his ass?" I was like, "Well, maybe, but why should I kick his bike over? He's never done a goddamn thing to me." And he said, it'll be weird. It'll be fun. It'll be exciting. I don't know what the fuck made me do it, but I said, whatever. And I went and kicked his bike down. And when I did, I noticed he had Halloween shit makeup on his mask or on his eye. That kind of tripped me out, but I still kicked his bike down. He got up and he didn't even fight me. My other friend was laughing. And I was looking at him like, and he said, "What the fuck did you do that for?" And I go, I don't know. I guess because Jim was challenging me, and I didn't even know it was you. I just lied and said I didn't know it was him. I guess that was good enough, but at the time, Steve Purvis was not very threatening, so it really didn't matter. I would have probably beat his ass anyway back then. Later, he became really good at nunchucks, and hold on, I got an issue with no Kleenex, so I have no Kleenex. But later in life, he did. He got really good at nunchucks. I guess karate, and there was no way I would fuck with him at that point. He's fully trained. He was bigger than me. I was bigger muscularly. I was bigger, like wider, but he was taller, and I had disrespected him once, so I didn't want to disrespect him twice. That would just be a no-no. So one time I went to Mississippi Nights to go in to watch a band play, and my friends were with me, and he wouldn't let me in because he was the door guy. And I was like, "Oh shit, I know why he's doing this. It's because the time I kicked his bike over. Now he's not gonna let me in. I gotta sit here and try to get my friends to fucking either leave or just I'll just hang out here for the entire gig." And that's what I did until I guess they left halfway through. But that's where I met Susan White. Not at Mississippi Nights, though, I don't think. She was the most beautiful woman ever on earth. Later, I looked her up on Facebook, and it looks like she had gotten cancer. Maybe she even died. I was afraid to find out. Most beautiful woman, though, and the nicest. I couldn't go wrong with her, but it did go wrong. I didn't have a car. I didn't have what she wanted. She was so beautiful. And then, I mean, if you look her up on Facebook, you'll see it looks like she had cancer, and she hasn't posted in a long time. I assume she may, may, maybe still alive, but I doubt it. Let's see who else. The Yurs were cool people. We used to go over there and party all the time. The dad didn't care how many young people were partying at his house. He was a hard worker. He had a barn basically that was converted into another house in the back. And we used to all party back there. And it wasn't any kind of barn, it was a house. It was just shaped a little like a barn. That's it. It was a fucking house. All of us had that house to ourselves. Parties all the time. But that family was scarred severely because their brother got his head smashed by a keg of beer in front of everyone. Killed, and his head was completely smashed right in front of them. Whenever you talked to any of the Euros, you knew right away. You knew right away. Every single one of the ones that were there that saw that, you could see the trauma in their expressions, in the way they acted. And let's see what else. I can tell you this for sure. We used to go to a lot of rock parties, and I used to have to kind of be covertly just act as normal as possible because I already had a reputation for liking some punk rock and stuff that no rocker back then would tolerate. So I go to these keggers just to be there, and party, and try to get chicks. But it was always a risk factor, and I always got a little bit of a hard time because a lot of them did know who I was. You know, they try to charge me for a kegger that was actually a free kegger, and I just say stuff like, "Oh, come on, seriously, bro?" They go, "Yeah, seriously." And I start to go for my wallet, and they say, "No, we're just kidding, dude. Here, grab a beer. Fuck, I was just kidding." But they always gave me a hard time that way. I'll turn my fan off. Boo boo, you didn't eat all your food. You didn't eat all your food. Oh, oh. So, out of all those people I used to hang out with, at least one chick who became a lesbian and later tried to, I think, stalk me. She, I don't know. I think she went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Came all the way out here to the West Coast to see if she could just walk by me, and that made me uncomfortable. I think what happened is she wanted to convert back to liking guys. She didn't know how to go about it right. Anyway, stream's over.